All right, everybody, it's your boy Genius out here at the range today. Got Miss Amanda out here shooting a 12 gauge. I was actually kind of shocked I was able to talk her into shooting it. She actually ended up putting quite a few rounds through it. I don't know what she thinks about it. She probably won't tell me. She says she can't do too much of that. That's what she said. Either way, it's the Tokarev. I don't know. I guess I'm saying that right. Tokarev. I've never had this brand before. I've had several of these mag-fed semi-automatic guns. I think I had one from G-Force or Rock Island, the VR80, I believe it was. And I've had several others. I just can't remember what they were. And one thing that was consistent among all of them is that I never could get get them to reliably feed. They'd say, well, you need to run high velocity, 1400, 1350. Anything over 1300, you got to run some high velocity. Basically, you got to dislocate your shoulder in order for them to run. And I will say, before I get the video started, one thing that I have appreciated about this one so far is that has not been the case. I have ran 1180 velocity through it. In fact, I emptied this box, and I also have ran 1290, emptied that box. I did do some 1350. And also I did some Super X. It's also 1290. All of that was 2 3/4. Also did some 3-inch 1550 velocity. As you can see here, that was a pretty powerful punch. Didn't do a whole lot of that because I'm doing some pistol shooting today, and I ain't want to, get my shoulder sore. Before I get started talking a little bit about this, as always, want to invite you to know Jesus Christ as your Savior, the most important decision you will ever make. I've been telling people recently, you don't have to believe me. In fact, you can have, a hard stance on the subject, but you can also pick up a book and read it. People pick up their phone and everything else and read it. Pick up a King James Bible, humbly ask God to reveal himself to you through his word. I believe wholeheartedly that he will do just that. I really do. And you can come to know him on a personal level, know him as your Savior, have a home in heaven for eternity. Also consider going over supporting Amanda and I on Patreon. $5, $10, $20 a month. I upload everything over there. And yes, we do covet your support, but we mostly are pushing people towards our website for one reason and one reason only, because what you donate, the majority of that goes to us. We get the majority of that. It's like 97%. We get like 94% or so, somewhere around there, maybe 93, 94 on Patreon. You can do super thanks, but Apple and YouTube takes about 60% of that. So that is what it is. If you want the most of what you donate to go to us, go to our website, gsquaredtactical.com. Click on the 3 lines in the corner. Screen will pop down. It'll have $5 in the name your price box. You can simply wipe that out. It is a one-time donation. It's not reoccurring. You would have to, if you wanted to do that monthly, you would have to go on there monthly and do it. But we do get the most of that. And we understand completely if you can't do any of that, but it's absolutely free to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and watch the video in its entirety. Again, the Tokarev, is that what we're saying? Tokarev, I don't know, may not be right, but that's what I'm calling it. Again, the thing, it did only come with one 5-round magazine. It came with a choke in the gun, and it came with 2 additional chokes. So 3 chokes total. Okay, came with a lock, of course. It came with a key to remove the chokes, of course. And you got your piece for heavy loads there. So it did come with all of that in the box. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the features, but before I do that, I'm going to go through some of the heights, weights. Of course, it's set up like an AR M14 ergonomics with the safety being very familiar if you're familiar with the AR platform. Okay, fully ambi controls, and it also has an AR M4 type stock. It is not adjustable, but you can add a cheek riser to the end of it. Haven't looked into that as to how expensive it is, how readily available it is. That is one of the drawbacks sometimes to some of the Turkish shotguns. If you need parts for it, they can be hard to come by sometimes. Has a QD attachment on both sides, I believe. Yes, on both sides of the rear of the stock there. And of course you have a very nice padded stock, so it's not underwhelming at all. You know, it punches. It is a 12 gauge, especially when you have the high velocity in there. It's got a little punch to it, but definitely not uncontrollable, right? So far I have put a little over 100 rounds, and it has been flawless. Again, it doesn't matter what I've put through it, it has been flawless. And I started out actually putting the low velocity through the gun. And it has ran every bit of it from the get. There was a few times that when the magazine was full that I had a hard time, you know, trying to get it to drive that first round out of the magazine and drive it home. I don't know if maybe that's a break-in thing or something, but it always ultimately did send it home. So, you know, I guess no harm, no foul there. Only a 1 year warranty on this, and it is MKA T-1919 magazine compatible. As you can see here, I did get a 10-round magazine. Not sure if they make one of them crazy, wild, you know, whatever it is, 18, 19 rounders or something. I'm not sure if you can get one of those for it or not. Does have polymer flip up sights. Not sure the brand on them. I guess it's their brand. I'm not really sure. Doesn't necessarily have a brand labeling on it, but plenty of real estate up top on the rail here. This is polymer, but plenty of real estate here if you wanted to stick a red dot up there, which is ultimately more than likely what I would do. Okay, and that's one thing I do like about it, because it is very slick here on the sides. All of this right here is very slick, so I found myself holding it down towards the very end, which is something I typically don't do when I'm shooting AR-15 style guns, whether it be a shotgun or an actual AR-15. I tend to hold it more back this way, closer to the mag well. So if you'll notice, there were times that my wife and I both were holding it at the mag well, and that's because I forgot my vertical foregrip that I was going to attach right here as a place for me to hold on to. But you have plenty of those all over the gun, literally all the way around it. You have plenty of pick rail real estate here to add just about anything that you want to add. Yes, the flip up sights did come on it. You do also have a place to attach your sling on the front of the gun as well. Again, it did just come with one 5-round magazine. Okay, it is 2 3/4 and 3-inch 12 gauge. Obviously the frame, slide, and receiver finish is ionized, or anodized should I say. Okay, should have said that wrong. Let's see, I've already mentioned the pick rail. The barrel length is 18.5. Threaded Benelli mobile choke. Like I said, it did come with 3. The barrel finish is chromate. Guess that's how you say that. The overall length is 38 inches. The overall height, I would assume, without the magazine, including the grip, is 8.3, and the overall width is 3 inches. The total weight, unloaded of course, with no magazine, is 7.22 pounds. And the gun comes in somewhere around, I mean, they say the MSRP on this is somewhere around 250. Okay, I think actually the 12P, this particular one may actually be discontinued. I think they have an MP now, and they have some different variants of this. They still make it, but I think the standard P may actually be discontinued. Has a halfway decent trigger with a decent reset, decent break. I mean, again, it is a 12 gauge, so I don't know how much that actually really matters, but surprisingly the trigger is not that bad. And I actually only paid $200 for this, and about $25 for the extra magazine, so I got about $225 out the door in the gun. So for that price, I've had, like, again, I've had a G-Force, which I paid somewhere around that same price, but even with high velocity within the first several hundred rounds, we just had issues with it feeding, pure and simple. Okay, and then we had the VR80 from Rock Island. I mean, really loved that gun. I loved everything about how it looked, and it was just, I just loved that thing, but it just would not function. Okay, my buddy Junior had one, I had one. My buddy Trey that used to do the channel with me had one, and none of them would function, even with high velocity, not reliably, should I say. So for anyone that's had that and it's been great, you know, good for you. But I had a sample of 3 of them, and none of them would ever, no matter how many rounds we put through it, reliably cycle even high velocity ammunition. So that has been my experience with mag fed shotguns. So I am pretty excited about the fact that this one had no performance issues out at the range, and you can only be happy with that with a $200 semi-automatic mag fed shotgun. So again, I'm sure that I left some stuff out. I'm sure I didn't answer some questions that maybe people had. Again, the stock is not adjustable. I wish it was. I wish I could move the stock in for myself a little bit anyway, but it is not adjustable. As to whether or not you can change that and put something else on there, I really don't know, but if I need to, I can find out for you. Again, if I didn't mention something that you want to know, I will absolutely find out. I do have it in my possession. I tend to hold on to it for, I don't know, probably another couple weeks. So if there's anything you want to know about it that I didn't cover, just simply ask and I will share in the comment section. I do thank you for watching, and we're going to get right to shooting some pistols and doing some other reviews today. As always, hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Most importantly, know Jesus Christ as your Savior. Take care of that today. And on this beautiful day that the Lord has made, rejoice, be glad in it, and to God only be the glory.